morning. I'm here this morning with Sarah Cervic, my good friend and salon owner. Sarah, tell us all about you.
Thanks for having me. I am I'm like she said, I'm a salon owner. I've owned my salon since 2018. I've been a hairstylist since 2009. I also co-own a gym, and I'm a certified professional coach.
And also compete. And I think, I
I
think I met you in 2009, right as you started hair school. So we go
know.
way, way back. And it's so fun to, well, I'll tell you, we talk a lot about the power of five and the five people you have around you. And the five people that I have around me that I spend the most time with are hustlers. They're entrepreneurial, they own their own business or businesses like Sarah does. And they're just killing it like every single day. And that's what I love. I mean, it's so much fun to be able to have all my besties on, but also to have people that are going to have tips and tricks for anyone who wants to get going on their own or has that entrepreneurial spirit and is just not sure where to apply it or what to do. So, did you always know you wanted to do hair?
Um, I guess I think I kind of got to the end of high school and everyone was like going to college
Uh-huh.
and my parents didn't go to college. They didn't know they didn't really give me much guidance as far as like what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, does that count?
And I remember I finished high school and I really didn't have a plan. And
Uh-huh.
I had a friend that I worked with. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. I had a friend that I worked with and he was like, "Oh yeah, my family all lives in California." And I was like, "Let's go." Like, let's go. And I was very shocked when I moved to Sacramento and realized that all of California is not LA.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I got here and I mean, doing hair seemed like it was going to be something I could have as a career quickly.
Hmm.
And it was really like the only thing that I was super interested in. Like, I mean, I was doing my friend's hair in the kitchen
Yeah.
high school, like I was the girl and I was destroying people's hair. Like sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. So yeah, I went to
And
hair
you were
school.
not afraid to try. You were not
I
afraid
was
to
never
try.
afraid to try. So but I think I thought like I would go to hair school and then I would have that as a job and then
Yeah.
I would like go to college and
Uh-huh.
have a different career. Which I did go to community college for a while, but at a certain point I was just like, this is like not, I'm like not into this. Uh,
Well, your entrepreneurial spirit and drive. I mean, I know that's another thing I recognized you as soon as I met you. I was like, I think you run. I was running marathons. I just started running marathons like on a dare from one of my dumb younger sisters that was like, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm like, game on. Like, you're drunk. I'm definitely going to run a marathon. So I talked you into running. I was like, pretty sure you run.
I was like, I mean, I did track, I guess. Sure.
How many marathons did you do with me? Three?
Uh,
A
we
couple
did
halves?
we did
Two?
too.
Two? A couple halves, a 5K. We held it down for a while and we've trained together as well for competition. So like I recognized this drive that you have that I don't find in a lot of people.
Well, to
It,
be fair with the running, you didn't give me much of a choice. You just showed up at my house.
that
Get
is
in the car, bitch.
very, very true. Very, very true. That is the way to recruit people. And I think that's the drive that I see in you. When you see somebody that has talent, you're like, no, get over here. I'm not taking no
Yeah.
for an answer. We are doing this. Here's how we're doing it. Like, get in the car and I'll explain to you on the way. Which is another thing we share in common. You did the same thing with coaching. You're like, get into this
Yeah.
program. You and I already do this for free. Like, we are so quick to be like, let me come over and sit at your kitchen table and help you start a business. That's a
Yeah.
skill set that I didn't really recognize that not everybody has. Just, being entrepreneurial, I'm like, everybody could do that. Everybody can't. That's not true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everybody can, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody
Sure, sure. They
can.
have the ability just like they could walk or talk or run a marathon, but 4% of the population runs marathons. I don't know what
Right.
I should have run the stats. I don't know what the stats are on entrepreneurial. people or women entrepreneurs that start their own businesses. I don't have the stats on that. I probably should have pulled it, but it's a different number. And I find there's a small group of women that are just killing it. And those are the people I want to be surrounded by all the time with my workouts, with running, with business, with coaching, with all of the things that we can do together because we're all coming up together. Like that's what I want to be around.
Yeah, for sure. I think like well, I think because it's not everybody does it, I think it's not as easy to find somebody to be like, oh, this is like to give you like instructions for how to do it.
Yes, yes,
And I
yes.
think that's the thing too, is it's not really like a one size fits all.
Mhm.
Like, the steps that one person took like might not work for you now, it might have worked in 2018 but it doesn't work in 2025. And
Yeah,
like I think timing matters. And like finding a mentor matters, but at a certain point you have to be like, okay, like fuck it,
yeah.
I'm just gonna fuck this up and
Uh,
for the best.
And well, I think that's part of falling on your face and getting up and doing it over again, which I want to speak to because when you started school, like what was the duration of time from starting making a decision, starting school, and then getting going, like actually making money doing hair?
Well, hair school took me a little bit longer because I was working during the day, as you know.
Sure, sure, yeah.
Um, and so it took me I think it took me about a year and a half, or maybe, yeah, I think it took me about a year and a half to
Oh, I
finish.
mean, if you consider 18 months is not that long to to go into what has become, I mean, you're a salon owner, a career for you.
Well, and it's crazy to see like new hairstylists now because the state regulations have changed so much. So now it's like you can be done with school in like 6 months.
Wow.
And you don't have to like I had to do the test with the person
Uh-huh.
and the finger waves and the whole thing, and you don't have to do that anymore. But
Yeah.
it took me about a year and a half. And then I mean my first job, which you helped me get, was at Supercuts.
Oh,
And
that's right. And
yeah.
you were killing it at Supercut. So I have a lot of look, I've started at the bottom a million times. I'm constantly reinventing and pivoting. So can you speak to that? Because I think there is this fantasy out there that like you're going to graduate and you're going to roll into some like luxury salon and clientele's just going to walk in and be like, give me the prettiest girl here to fix me up. Like what, like give us the real deal.
Well, I mean, I can totally speak to that because I think like I think it's that way for everything, right? There's like the social media versus reality, which was
Yep.
less when I was starting to do hair because like Instagram didn't even exist. But in hair school, yeah, they made it like, oh, like you need to go assist
Uh,
at a fancy salon.
uh,
And yeah, but I was thinking like, okay, well that's fine for somebody that can like go and like make 10 cents,
right, right.
but like I'm out here on
Here's
my
the drive.
own.
Here's the drive coming in.
I'm out here on my own. I'm
Right.
19. Like my parents don't live here. Like I have to pay rent. So
Uh-huh.
like I don't really have the luxury of I can go work somewhere 3 days a week and not make any freaking money.
Right, right.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I stayed at Supercuts for like 3 or 4 years. And I will say, like, even now, I can tell the stylists at my salon that started at Supercuts in a good
Why?
way
Okay, okay.
because Supercuts teaches you efficiency. They're like, you need to get people in and fucking
Uh-huh.
out. Like, we are not, that's the model here. It's cheap.
Right.
So we need to move
Uh-huh.
quickly, which I think translates obviously now like I spend more time on a haircut than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But like they have a system that gets
Uh-huh.
you like you're always thinking about it in your head. Like time is still money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people who come from working at Supercuts, they just move more efficiently. And in like the like luxury salon space, there are so many stylists that refuse to do short hair or men's haircuts, which
Mhm.
I think
Uh-huh.
is like a big miss, right? Like it's fast money. Like
Yeah.
you really don't, and I mean, if I'm being honest, like you don't need to be the best hair cutter to do it because most men
Uh-huh.
that are like coming to a hair salon that want their haircut,
Uh-huh.
like they want the experience. But
Yeah.
even so often now, like I have a couple girls at the salon that came from Supercuts and they'll do men's hair too. But a lot of the times it's like, oh, you need to go to Sarah because it's
Okay.
like if you didn't have that like
Uh-huh.
experience of just
Uh-huh.
doing like head after head after head after head, like you get so confident because it's like, okay, I could do this in my sleep with
Mhm.
the system that they have.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I was there, yeah, 3 or 4 years, and I don't know, I couldn't tell you like what I was getting paid exactly when I worked there, but and I'm sure now I would be like, that is nothing.
But
But
you
at the
showed up,
time, I was making a
pushed
living and I
it.
was living by
Yeah.
myself a lot of it, and it was fine. It was good. Yeah.
And you were killing it. And then you went back and taught, and then you started at another teaching school. I mean, you were constantly in education,
Yeah.
learning, growing, pivoting. I mean, our whole market changed. We went through COVID together as business owners, and you stayed strong the whole time. So, can you speak to that? Like when one thing wasn't working, or you realized, hey, this isn't a long term plan. How did you figure out what your next step was? Because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, whether it's hair or anything else that you're doing. Like when you found that was the case, what was your next move?
Well, I think the biggest time that happened was when I left the school. I was
Uh-huh.
running the education department and I kept asking to negotiate my salary,
Uh-huh.
which I think is another like taboo thing, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, and they were kind of blowing me off about it. And I was finally like, you know what? Like, this is not it. I'm not gonna like stay here and beg somebody to pay me for what I know I'm worth.
Yeah.
So I had left, but I didn't really have a plan. I was renting a chair like 1 or 2 days a week on the side, and I had taken this job at an office, and I was like, this is a super not fucking it. And so I had been interviewing at salons. I went to like so many salon interviews and but I was at the point that like I wasn't just going to take any job because
Yeah.
like I had been doing hair for like I don't know, like 8 years at this point. I
And
knew
I want to mention you had like 12 people stacked on a Sunday when you were renting
yeah,
a
yeah,
salon
like
that
I
wasn't
wasn't
used
just
on
going
a
to work at,
Sunday.
I had a better idea of like what I liked and what I didn't like and what I wanted in a work environment. And I just wasn't getting the vibe from any
Uh-huh.
of the salons I interviewed at. Like I was like, I don't I don't know if I like this.
Uh-huh.
So that I was getting job offers, but I was like, I don't know. And like, or it would be like a commission split, and I would be like, I
Mhm.
don't think that's gonna be worth it. So
Yeah.
I kept looking, and I found salon space, like a whole space that was for rent, my first
Uh-huh.
the little one. And that was when I was like, well, I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe I just have to do it myself. And that was,
Scary was that to go into like I'm going from renting a small space on a Sunday and being at a place where I'm getting an hourly wage to going into renting a whole space where I now need other stylists to help pay what I have to bring in to make this salon work.
well, I think it didn't seem fortunately at the time, but at the time I was like, well, it can't get any worse than
Yeah.
this. Can't get any worse than me getting paid $12 an hour at a
Uh-huh.
fucking office.
Uh-huh.
Like, so I'm just gonna try it, and if it doesn't work, then I don't know, I'll be
Yeah.
homeless or something, like I'll figure it out. But like, it can't be any worse than this. And like, I have the driving force in my brain of like, well, it has to work. It
Right.
it literally has to work because I don't have any other option. Like I don't really have very much money to like get this up and running, but
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna just and I think that is part of it too. Is like so
Yeah.
many people, especially if they're starting like a brick and mortar business, they're like, it has to
Mhm.
look perfect and it has to be beautiful and I have to spend all the money on the most expensive shampoo bowl, chair,
Uh-huh.
whatever. And I think even now I realize that like that doesn't actually matter. Like no, like people care to an extent, right? You don't want to
Yeah,
like go to a dump to get your hair done.
of course.
But like if somebody is giving you like the service that you like
Mhm.
how they make you feel and you like how your hair looks when you leave, the fluff stuff doesn't matter
Yeah.
and it doesn't make you any extra money.
Mhm.
So I think that I learned that really quickly of like, okay, like how do I do this on a budget, which is very doable to find things
Sure.
that are like not the most expensive thing. And how do I toe this line between like it looks good enough
Yeah.
It's good enough and I'm proud of it. And
Uh-huh.
like, but I know like here's the things that I want when I can't, when I have the means.
I think this is called paralysis by analysis. And I
Yes.
see so many entrepreneurial people fall into this trap where everything has to be perfect and they're going to decide on the color yellow and they have to wait for somebody else to make a decision about that. Like this indecisiveness will kill you. It'll rob you of your joy having the comparison and not being certain of what you're doing. And I think another thing that I really want to touch upon is you're like, I don't have another choice. I'm going to make this happen. And when that is your determining factor, like I'm going to make it happen, well, there's your drive right there. And if that's not
Yeah.
something, unfortunately, you can teach people, I think that's something you just have or you don't have. And I don't know how to teach that. You know, in the number of people that I've employed or worked with, that's not something you can teach. Either you've got that like innately in you, or you just don't. And entrepreneurs usually have that. But
Well,
I
I
think
think
really tying into that thought.
I think most people like are scared to even be in a position where they don't have any other choice. You know what I mean?
So true. Yeah.
So like I don't know. When I look back on it, I don't know that I was like planning.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to be in that position, and it's a scary position to be in, and I don't like necessarily recommend everybody like just fucking throw it all to the wind and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that is a very motivating way to get things done.
It really is. When your back's against the wall, you're going to do it. I mean, we talked about this just recently because I was doing a lot of back and forth because of the weird real estate market. And when you get ready to go on vacation, you can get like 2 weeks of work done in 2 hours. You're able to
Yes.
buckle down. If you tell your mind this is what has to be done right now because I'm leaving or there's nobody else to do it or rent's due tomorrow and I have to come up with $2,400, whatever your motivation is, you're going to do it when your back's against the wall if you have that innate drive, and maybe you just haven't found it yet. But I think that's something that everybody can relate to that's going to tune into this, is like finding that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think um yeah, I think it is. It's that, and it's like you just can't spend too much time thinking about it.
Yep.
Like the
Yep. You
longer
just
you
go
think
for it.
about something, and I mean, it's the same for me when I think about like I had just moved my salon
Mhm.
to the bigger location where it's at now, like 6 months before I had to shut it down. So,
That is, I mean, insane. All of that is insane as well. But I didn't even prep you for any of this because I like the free flow of it. But can you
yeah.
talk about that? I know when you got in there, you needed to come up with a ton of money and then a ton
Ugh.
more. And you were so you were like, I'm not taking no for an answer. You were so ingenious in coming up with very creative ways to come up with a shit ton of money on the fly to open a salon.
I mean, honestly, when I think back on it, I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. Like, I, it was a hope and a prayer, girl. And I mean, it was funny because I had just met my husband like right before all of this happened,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Oh no, we're doing this together. I'm gonna go with you." Like, but yeah, I secured the lease at this place, and it was like a massage
Uh-huh.
studio, so it had like
So you
six.
don't have shampoo bowls, you don't have
No.
lights or mirrors or all the
No.
things you need.
And well, when I say it was a massage studio, I feel like I should explain how disgusting it was in there. It was they got evicted for illegal activities. And so like the place was disgusting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of construction that needed to
And there
be
was a
done.
bad vibe going on, I'm sure, because
It was, and you could like feel like, yeah, it was
oh
crazy.
man.
It was crazy town in there. And so I found a contractor. My friend had referred me to this contractor, and I mean, as I'm sure anyone knows who's done anything with a contractor,
Yeah.
like it starts one price, and
Uh-huh.
then every
Got some
week,
change orders.
yeah. So like, and I was on a time limit. I had like a three
Uh-huh.
month rent free period that I fortunately I had an attorney who was a client, so she really like fought with me to negotiate the
Uh-huh.
lease. And yeah, like it just kept getting more expensive and I fucking ran out of money. Like I came to a point where I was like, I don't have another $4,000 to write you a check for.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I had been coming up with every idea I could. I was like, okay, I was doing hair deals, like pay me for your hair for the year ahead of time.
I remember this. Like, I think that's the power of kind of group coaching, which we later did. I mean, we were doing this
Yeah,
before I knew that was a thing, but like group coaching, where you get your other entrepreneurs and you're like, here's the problem, get throw
yeah,
out some ideas. And then you get other people to be like, oh, everyone pays for their hair up front for a year and you get a gift card or something. Like, I remember you bringing in 13 grand in like 3 days, just throwing
yeah.
out creative ideas when you needed
Yes.
to
And
come in.
then and then that money went real quick.
Yeah.
And then I was hosting classes. And then at a certain point I was like, I'm gonna just have to ask people if I can borrow some money. And
Uh-huh.
so that's what I started doing. Like, and so then I was in a shitload of debt, like debt to friends on
Uh-huh.
top of credit card debt, on top of, you know, so anyway, the salon opened. Yay, hooray, we made it. And then come March 20, that was like August, September 2019. And then March of 2020, they were like, okay, you got to shut this shit down. And I was like, oof, I'm like barely fucking making it work, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So, I did some controversial things at the time. So we had the blinds closed, and I was like, okay, everybody else can't do hair in here, but I'm gonna like.
Right.
So, I mean, I didn't charge my stylist rent the entire time during COVID, but I was doing hair to cover the bills.
Which is amazing that you were able to just double down that, which is really kind of one of my favorite things to do because I'm scrappy like that. Like when your back's against the wall and you got to double down, you're like, oh, I have that in me. That is
Yeah,
such an amazing feeling to like
yeah.
double
Well,
down
and
like that and make it.
my mother-in-law was like, okay, we're gonna get online. You can get this SBA loan. You could get like she
Uh-huh.
had me like on everything like way ahead of time. So I did end up securing like a legitimate SBA loan. And then I started doing stuff that I couldn't afford to do
Mhm.
when we first opened. So I redid the
Yeah.
floor. I don't even remember what all we did. We redid the bathroom. Like I did a lot of stuff around there, but yeah, it was a very stressful, very stressful time. But again, like I was like, well, there's no other. And my landlord wasn't like, oh, you're shut down. Like, let me just, because it's trickle down, right? He got to pay the
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yep.
So, um, yeah. So,
Yeah, you have the most beautiful space now, and I'm glad it's all come around. Like the Miami vibe, the glitter bathroom, the pink. It's tits, if you will. Like you need to see Sarah's salon geometry. How many stylists do you have in there right now?
I have 11 stylists and a nail tech.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I know at the beginning, well, and Sarah does my hair. It's not as cool as it usually is, but Sarah, I was like, oh, if we're gonna shave half the side of my head, I think I should have like a lightning bolt or a diamond. You were like, come on. But I had an amazing diamond. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna go back to that. I think our next appointment's in a couple weeks from now, but I'm gonna go back to that. Maybe it's a
Yes.
week out. In any event, Sarah was also doing extensions long before they were a thing. And I know I was doing a lot of coaching at that point with realtors. And every time I walked in Starbucks, everyone was like just the mermaid ridiculousness. And it was, I mean, I didn't know extensions were even a thing, and you were doing them and putting them
Yeah,
in.
you were like client zero. I was like, I don't really know how to do this. And you're like, oh, it's fine.
Was the most amazing set of white blonde platinum locks you've ever seen down to my waist. Yeah, every 12-year-old at Starbucks was like, I need this. I need this. That was amazing. So yeah, just having that entrepreneurial spirit. And when one thing wasn't working or working well enough, you're like, I'm going to do another thing. I mean, I remember having that conversation at the very beginning of even hearing about extensions. I didn't, I'd heard about a weave. I had not heard about a white girl with something
Yeah.
strap onto your head. Like I hadn't heard of that being a thing until you were like, oh yeah, we can do that. Like we can do that and we'll figure it out. And you figured it out. And you've been
Yep.
figuring it out ever since with new and inventive products and teaching and education and sharing it all with your stylists and just really bringing up the level of what you know how to do and what you're teaching others how to do now.
Yeah. And I think now I'm at this point where, well, for the first time in a long time, I'm like, okay, like I'm not in emergency mode anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, all my stylists could leave tomorrow and that is possible, but but things have been relatively just kind of, I just go to work now, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Which is an
Um,
amazing place to, I think it's so, happiness is so underrated when you're able to go to work and you have that stability and something that you've, created, curated, really like built from the ground up to have that stability is nothing short of amazing.
well, and I mean, well, and I'm even thinking now, like even last year, you sold me and Tyler, my husband, our house, and that
Yes,
was like
two houses. You bought two houses.
you sold us two houses, and that was super fucking stressful. You know,
Uh-huh.
it was like the same deal, right? And this year, I'm like, gosh, like I'm just working on my house and going to work. And now I think now where my head is at is like money management and
Yeah,
like, and how how do I set things up for myself so that I eventually can be like retired. I
yeah.
still own, all the things that I own, but I don't have to necessarily like go to work every day.
Which I
Um,
think speaks to the coaching and what you're available to do. Like you are also a coach. So I'd say, especially for somebody who wants to start a business, something like a salon, or you also own a gym, you're also a landlord. I mean, you're doing a lot of things. For
yeah.
somebody who has that drive but really doesn't know what the first step is, I cannot recommend coaching enough. Because it was the same thing for me in real estate. I didn't break 100 until I got a coach. I did people that were like, oh, you just need balloons, you'll figure it out. You're not going to figure out anything. Let me tell you, you're not just going to figure it out. That's not how life works. You're not going to watch somebody or shadow them and figure it out. You need an actual coach giving you actionable steps and accountability on the regular, like at minimum weekly, to be able to really grow and know what you're doing. You need somebody who's already done it. And if it's somebody who doesn't own a business, then they're not going to be a good business coach. It's just, and there's a ton of them out there, by the way. There's a ton of business coaches that are not in business for themselves. So I'm like, I'm very
Yeah.
suspect as to what you'd be teaching me, sir. If you're not in business for yourself, like living it, breathing it, doing it, how do you know what the pitfalls are or what even my actionable steps are?
Yeah. I think that is true. And I think it's just, I mean, having a coach in any capacity is, or even not even, it doesn't even need to be like a
Legit coach.
coach,
Yeah,
even
you
just
need a
somebody
coach or a
else.
mentor. You need somebody. And I don't know. I mean, this is putting you on the spot with this, but if there's a new stylist that comes in, do you just do a bit of mentoring with them just naturally?
I think so, but it kind of depends on the situation. Like, I feel like a lot of the reason that I am so fortunate that I have like a good sized team that stayed for a long time is that, I mean, like the business model in most salons is you're self-employed owning the salon, and then
Yeah,
everybody inside of the salon is also self-employed, right?
yeah,
They're like their own little business.
right.
And I think a big part of it and a big issue that I know I had when I was working at other people's salons, and I think this comes up for other stylists, is like the salon owner is like too in it. You know what I mean? Like they're too trying to be too involved. And I think for me, I'm like, I kind of just let people fuck up on their own.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And like I let them do their thing, like whatever you want your schedule to be, whatever you want,
Sure.
like you do your client interactions, like, but like if you want my help, if you're having
Uh-huh.
an issue like, oh, why am I not busy? Or why am I not this? Then
Yeah.
yes, I will do that for you. But I really do my best to like not force myself in before I'm invited, because I think like you have to be at that point where you're like, okay, what I'm doing is not working.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
need like the freedom to fuck up.
Yep.
Um, so I think I don't know. I think like loosening the reins, which is hard, especially when
Mhm.
it's like your space and you
You're a
want
little baby. Yeah.
how you want it to be. But just like loosening up the reins a little bit and being like, you know what? Like this is our space.
Uh-huh.
So yes, you should be able to do, I mean, like within reason, of course.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
you can't throw a party here at midnight, but like like however you want to conduct your business, as long as it's not affecting the rest of the team
Yeah.
negatively is fine with me. So I think there's like two sides to the coin, just like
But yeah. I think you're also offering a lot of opportunity. Like, one of the times that I got long pink extensions, you had a guy come in from some fancy schmancy place that
Mm,
taught everybody, and everybody had to bring in a model and learn how to do this particular type. There's lots of different types of extensions. It's not a one size fits all. There's lots of different types, and you can have multiple types in your head if that's what you choose to do. I've seen it. It's not my
yeah.
thing, but you could have like a whole lot going on if you want to. But I
Yes.
think just providing that education and mentorship is so helpful to somebody who's new in this game because you're not just going to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like any industry, like things change pretty quickly, and you
Uh-huh.
kind of you have to keep up with the new
Whatever's going on, yeah.
with yes, exactly.
So
Exactly.
where are the trends heading right now? What are you seeing trending that you are working towards, or what's the next thing that you think you're? I mean, you did mention you're still doing some coaching. You want to be better at the money management aspect and not being like in the business as much as working on the business, right? Because that's a two-part problem for every business owner. You need help, but then working on the business takes you away from working in your business, and you're usually like the best one in your business. So it's hard to
Right.
not clone yourself and then work on your business. Like, where do you see this trend going with hair right now? And what would be helpful to somebody getting into this game?
Well, I mean, the trend with hair right now, I think honestly, just because like the way that the economy is going, I think people
Yeah.
are pulling back on um what's the word for it? Non-essential things right now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I
There's a
think
whole
that
lot of, yeah, I see all of the social medias like trad wives and people staying at home and baking sourdough. I'm like that. There's a lot of that. I don't know if it's just I seem interested in it, so they show me more, but there seems to be a lot of that in like natural hair and
well,
bun.
and just, I mean, we live in Sacramento, so a lot of the people here are state workers, government workers, and like a lot of government funding has been cut. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are either like their hours have been cut or they're laid
Uh-huh.
off or any of those things. And so I think it's not only important to be up to date on the luxury services like extensions, but
Mhm.
also like working with your clients, like, okay, um, let's get you something that you can push your appointment out instead of 6 weeks, you come back in 12 to 16 weeks.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
still coming to see me, right? But like working with people instead
Mhm.
of being like, oh, well, you can't afford me,
Yeah.
Um, I think honestly, I think that's the trend. It's like adapting in that way to be able to
Mhm.
give people um something that's going to look good and that works, that it maybe isn't super platinum blonde, maybe it's like, okay, we're going to like smudge your root so it can be a little more graceful.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's kind of where it's going right now,
I
which
love that.
is
I think that's good
fine,
for any business.
like I hear a lot of people that aren't busy and I'm like, well, I
Still
still
slammed all the time, but you're also constantly adapting. And I think that is a good tip for any business owner. We are in a weird economy right now. Weird. I mean, just like I didn't
yeah, I
think
mean,
it was
I
going to
think
last. I didn't think this was going to last. Like rates are high, the job reports are a lie. I don't know. I don't know why we don't seem to be in the know about that, but like every month they put out job reports, and then the following month they're like, oh, guess that was a lie. It's actually this. Like all of this state funding, as you just mentioned, has been cut. I'm feeling it at this level right now where I don't want to be part of like this drama or like everything is bad, but there is a lot of talk about this in every circle I'm in business where everyone's like things are just slower than they were for
I
businesses, and there's a lot of layoffs happening right now for a lot of different industries. So I think being cognizant of that and really being able to adapt and pivot in regardless what your business is something you need to be prepared for. If you're not feeling it already in your business, you need to be prepared for it.
no, absolutely. And I think it's just a scary time for people. So being and for me, like we were just talking about, I'm like, well, I've been through, like COVID, this,
Yep.
that, and the other
Yep.
thing. So I am aware that
Uh-huh.
it's happening, but I'm not like, okay, this is gonna be the thing. But for me, as far as like what's my goal from here is honestly, I'm leasing my space. I signed we've been there for, well, 6 years
Uh-huh.
in like 2 days. Um, so I signed a new 5-year lease last year, but the goal in the next 4 years is to be able to buy a building so that
Mhm.
then, I can have extra rental income coming from like, I don't know what the building
Interesting.
is, but like
Yeah.
apartments or another commercial,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the move to be able to
Yeah.
like not be working until I'm 70. Uh,
Yeah.
but you know that, like
Yeah.
really
No,
big
I
move
think,
to
yeah,
do
it's
that.
important to have a goal at the end of what you're doing as well. So you know how you're carrying this on. Because in my opinion, it's all about legacy. So, you've created a salon geometry that's beyond you. You've created a brand, you've created a space for all these other people that's beyond you. And I think too often we don't think in terms of that. I mean, I very much think in terms of that. I want to build legacy and I don't want to create something where if I'm not there, it's not working because that's a job. That is not a business. And I'm really obsessed with having a business so that you can really create that legacy. So I think that's also something really important when you're finding a coach is to have that end goal and figure out, I mean, it might be a 5 or 10 year goal, but if you don't have that goal in mind, you don't, how are you setting your intention every day? What do you know what you're working on if you don't know what the end goal is?
Sorry, something just fell off of my shelf.
Oh, that's scary. I didn't want to spend too much time on your gym, but I know you opened a gym as well. Was that during COVID that you opened this gym? You just kind of got a great idea and decided to go lease another space and open a gym?
It was 2021.
Okay.
I think the end of 2021 that we signed the
Okay.
lease. Um, it was not my idea, no. I had a friend and it was his big dream to have this gym. And I just, as the coaching thing goes, he sort of was like, oh, maybe you tag along to look at these spaces and you can help
Uh-huh.
me. And then I just got so involved that then he was like, I guess we're just doing this together. So, uh, so that was, yeah, I mean, that was how that went. And it did, I will say, like, opening that, I feel, went a little more smoothly than the salon.
Uh-huh.
That didn't really require any construction, but well, I guess it did now that I'm thinking back. But my father-in-law and my sister-in-law and my husband and I, like they came up from San Diego and like we have a two office rooms that they built in the gym.
Uh-huh.
They just like flew up for a weekend. We're
Create
like,
it. They
sure,
weren't there.
we'll just give you free labor and
Uh,
build you some rooms. Um, yeah. But it was very different. I mean, like it's like different but the same, right? Like the business model is
yeah.
different, but the process is
Mhm.
pretty much the same.
Very
Um,
much the same. You need the same hustle, the same drive. You need to know what your numbers are. I think we lose sight of that as entrepreneurs and dreamers sometimes that there has to be real accountability with your accounting and what's coming in and what's going out and how to make those numbers work. Another reason you need a coach if you're going to start something.
but yeah, and I mean a gym is way more expensive to
Mhm.
start up just because you need all the equipment.
Your equipment alone, which was not sparkly glitter pink as you purchased it.
Right. And we did. I mean, I'm like thinking back on it now. The equipment we purchased, my husband was like, "Oh, I know this guy, all the bodybuilders, like he does like refurbished gym
Uh-huh,
equipment."
uh-huh.
And it wound up being like every step of the way, like I mean, it worked out and we have equipment in the gym, so great for like
And
a
it's
third of
sparkly
what
pink and amazing. Yeah.
it would have cost us. But the whole process was like nothing went according to plan. And like when the equipment got delivered, it was just like some guy that looked like Post Malone with two pit bulls in the truck. And he was like, he just backed the truck up and was like, okay, the rest is on you. Like, I'm not helping you. And all the equipment was like not on pallets or anything. We had a forklift. And
Oh
like,
my gosh.
fortunately, my husband left work to come help us because I was like, I can't, I
Yeah,
like, there's not much I'll say I can't do.
right.
This isn't gonna fucking work. Like,
Uh-huh.
it was crazy. Like, it was just, yeah. And then, like, half of it wouldn't fit in the gym. And it was all, I mean, like, I never thought about how heavy a cable machine is with
Right.
1,000 pounds on each side of
Uh-huh.
like weight. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, maybe people open businesses and like it goes smoothly for some
No,
people,
I don't
but
believe that for one moment. I don't believe that for one moment. I think opening anything is balls to the wall. You're the one that's not going to get a check after you pay everybody else, whether you have staff or employees or just helpers. You're like it's on you to do it and to come up with a plan. So it's a lot easier if you have somebody that's been through the ropes already that can give you some advice on how to do it. I think
yeah.
there's real what's the word for it, like having that kind of accountability and somebody who's been through it before is so helpful. In my opinion, it's really worthy of paying for a coach so that in the situations I've had where I have had that ability, luxury of having someone who's gone before me who can show me the way for some money, hands down worth it every single time. Like hands down.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it is worth it. And but I also think like, well, if you don't have it and you can't afford it, like I don't know that you need to wait for that, you know?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna like you were saying, like it's gonna be a shit show either way, whether you have
Yeah.
somebody showing you what
Yeah.
to do or not. So,
Well, I would also say, I mean, if you're somebody who you're just starting something, you can't afford anything, and you want to jump on a call with us and do some group coaching, like that's where you find your people. Find some business owners that have been through a thing or five and get some group coaching. Where like we did so much of that in our coaching program that was so helpful when you get somebody that goes, here's the problem. I'm not sure what to do. And then everybody, you just sit quietly and everybody else is like, did you try this? Did you try that? What if this? What if that? And you when you're in your business, which I can attest to because I've run multiple things, you're like you don't have a 360 on your business because you're in it. So you need somebody with that lens outside of it to give you perspective that you can't see when you're in it. You can't see it.
oh yeah, for sure. Like when you're in it, it's just I don't even know how to explain it. It's like
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, like you can't you're just in it. So
Yes.
you can't. But yeah, I mean, I think like money is usually the top problem, but money is always findable, you know? You can
It
always
is, it is, it's all available, and in my opinion, it's just a matter of, like, I'll go outwork anybody. So, that's never been my problem. I'll go outwork everybody, and I'll be incredibly creative to figure out a 3rd job if I need to. Like, that's my skill set. I'm scrappy and, like, I will go outwork anybody, and I think if you're going to be an entrepreneur of any sort, you need to have that skill set down, because unless you're really ready to outwork your competition, it's gonna be hard to rise above all of the beginning things that are going to come up that you couldn't possibly prepare for. Everything's new.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a way around the like having to outwork
Yep.
people. Like I think at a certain point, like I feel like I'm at that point now where I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily want to outwork everybody anymore.
Uh,
You know, like I have other things that I want to spend time on, but I think that like if you're gonna make it happen, you have
yeah.
to have like a period where you're like, okay, this isn't gonna be forever,
Yeah.
but for now.
No, amen. That's your building phase. And if you're not prepared for building phase, it'll knock you out.
But it is funny because I'm saying like I'm at this point, I'm a very chill time. But when I think about like, I mean, I have a couple clients I go to the salon at 6 a.m. for, and all the other
I
stylists
think I
are
was
like,
one of them.
yeah, all the other stylists are like, oh, I could never. And I'm like, oh, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
So I don't know, my barometer for it is
Uh-huh.
maybe not the same as many people's,
Someone
but
else's. Yeah.
yeah.
I can relate. So, okay, give us your top tips and takeaways. Like, if you are, whether it's a salon or something else, like, what do you really need to prepare for if you want to line up a business? What would you say, like, are your first couple of steps? And then give out your, we'll link all your contact, but like, give out however you'd want people to reach you if they're looking for a business coach and they want to start some sort of business. Like, what would be your first couple of like, here's what you need to worry about?
Well, I mean, I would say ideally before you start a business, you would have money.
Yeah.
You would stack the money. And if
Mhm.
you can't stack the money, you would find somebody that will lend you the money.
And there's plenty of that out there. And I
There
think
is
that
plenty
can
of it
be,
out
yeah,
there. Yeah. Which I mean, it's sad to say, but yeah, like that solves a lot of problems.
yeah.
Like being, like that solves a lot of problems. Um, and I think like getting as clear as you can on like what the number is, like how
Mhm.
much you need and
Yes,
how much
yes,
it's going to cost.
yes.
But being creative about like how could you make this cheaper, right? Like
Yeah.
there's so many ways. Like I mean, there's so many salon chairs on Facebook Marketplace all the time. There's some, like there's
Uh-huh.
way like I think you gave me my refrigerator that's at the salon for free. You know?
We're always
So
getting rid of refrigerators. I have somebody move out and I'm like, what am I doing with this apartment refrigerator? I don't have a place for this. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think if you can tie into your marketplace, your friends, the free things that you're going to need, because you don't know all of the things you're going to need. But if you can get that list together and kind of a plan, that's where a coach comes in again.
yeah, like a business plan probably would have been helpful
Yep.
for me, and that would probably
And then you know how many things you have to sell. If your number, I have to make whatever, X amount of dollars per week, per month, dial it back to a week. Then I have to make X amount of dollars per day. How many shirts am I selling? How many appointments do I need to book to get there? How many additional people in my salon or in my company are doing these things? And that's the dial back that I don't think I know in a lot of small business coaching that I've done, they don't have those numbers down. They have a great idea, but the logistics are not quite lined up to get there. And I think that's where a coach comes in really, really handy.
Yeah, because there's a lot of businesses that like it's doomed from the start, right? Because you're like, okay,
Uh,
well, I'm selling ice cream for
right.
$2 a cup, and like,
Uh-huh.
how am I going to cover the rent? Yeah, I think that's key. Like, really tuning into like, okay, is this realistic? Will this actually make money?
Yeah.
And if it won't, then pivoting your plan. Um, and yeah, secure the funds, have a plan. And then I think the rest is just, yeah, you just have to take the jump.
Yep. Take the jump and work. Get ready to work it.
Yep,
And
that's
I
it.
think being in as many groups as you can be in with other business owners, especially if you're a woman, being in other, women-owned business circles, that you can have that camaraderie and go to somebody with a problem. And if you're a business owner, chances are like you've been through it at some level and you know how to solve it or you have some advice. So I can't underestimate like the power of your five. Those five people that you spend the most time with are really going to have a direct effect on your energy for the day, what you're doing, what your outlook is, whether it's positive or not. I know I speak from experience with Sarah. Like, I've never worked so hard at the gym when we were working out together, training together. Like, when you have somebody that's like, no, bitch, throw another plate on there. I was just telling my girlfriend this morning, we were doing hip thrusters. I said, I have not done hip thrusters this heavy since Sarah. I literally had bruises on my hips because you were like, go again. Like, that was not 15. You need somebody in that corner that's going to push you that
Yeah.
hard. And if you don't have that, like, call us because you need a corner and you need those five. It's a direct reflection of what your day is going to look like and what your outlook is going to be. And I want to be that person for other people. Like, that's what I pride myself on. I haven't had a lot of those people in my life that were older than me when I was younger at the very beginning of my journey that were able to be like, "Oh, come alongside, let me show you the ropes." Like, I'll take that now. If you know something I don't know, I will gladly get in your car, sir. Like, I want to know what you know and how I
Well,
can
even
better in every way.
to that point, like I just did that. My new CPA is like, oh, you have to use QuickBooks.
Uh-huh.
You have to, everything has to be on QuickBooks. And I've been like staring at my computer like, duh, like making no
My
progress.
hand is up. Yeah.
So then I've been like racking my brain, like, I know I have to know somebody. And so I texted one of my clients who is an accountant, like,
Uh-huh.
hey girl, would you love to have a Sunday afternoon with me teaching me QuickBooks? And she was like, absolutely. Yes, I love QuickBooks. It's so fun. And I was like, I think we have
My girl.
different ideas of fun, but great. I feel like you're the person. You're
Yes.
enthusiastic
Yes.
about this, and like I don't think there's any point that you stop needing to like
Yes.
reach reach out for help.
Yeah, I just did this recently with Sarah and I have a lot in common with QuickBooks because my CPA was doing the QuickBooks and it was very expensive to have multiple accounts done every month. And my virtual assistant, who's been with me for 10 years and literally runs my life, like I am aware I cannot be without her. Like the most basic of things I depend on for her. But she was like, yeah, it's all linked up. And I was like, what does that even mean? And we got on the computer together and like she had all corporate accounts linked up to each, and once you put it in once, it just, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I didn't realize that was even a thing, that everything just linked up and it was incredibly cheap. So there's it, like to that point, if you're somebody who's like, I don't understand QuickBooks, you don't have to understand it. There's people out there for really, really inexpensively that can like my virtual assistant who can help with that. If you've never done social media, you're probably not just going to figure it out. You're not going to figure out what apps to use. You're not just going to be able to start a podcast overnight. Like get some people that know how to do it. And Sarah and I have a lot of connections. That's the other thing I love being able to do is like give out connections, and all the people that help me could also help you, provided they have the time. But I love having that camaraderie. We've shared
Yeah.
lots of referrals from HVAC guys to pest guys who your guy was excellent, to
Okay.
CPAs and QuickBooks and assistants. And like if you need something, you need a team that's going to help you get it done.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm always the person that people are like, "Oh, do you know this or that?" And like
You
when I
absolutely
don't
are.
know a person, people are like, "What do you mean?"
Yes, I want to be that person. Yeah, I want to invite everybody into our circle. I want a bigger, broader reach for all of us, especially as women entrepreneurs. I want more of that. So,
For
yeah, I
sure.
think that's a great fun. So we're going to link all of your handles on everything, but how does somebody reach you? And tell us where the salon is in case they don't know.
The salon is located on 16th Street. The cross street is R in downtown or Midtown Sacramento. Um,
Where there's lots of parking, by the way, you can actually park there.
yeah, we do have
Right?
a
Yeah.
parking garage right next door too.
Okay.
So yeah, there's paid parking, there's street parking, but it's very doable for being in Midtown, I think.
Yes, yes, I would agree.
And then my personal Instagram handle is at Sarah Serbs. The salon is at Geometry Salon, and the gym is at Queers and Allies underscore fitness.
Which I love. All of the things that you're doing. I'm always posting about them. If you're not following Sarah, you need to follow her just to see what her backyard looks like and the way that she made this like complete. I mean, she transformed a total like basic, the most basic of spaces. Like you have to go look at this. You've done such an excellent job with the salon, with your backyard, with everything that you've touched is just I would say turns to gold, but I'd say it actually turns to sparkly pink, which is my favorite.
I would agree. I would agree. Thank you. Thank you.
So fun having you on. Well, I would encourage all of you, if you were thinking of starting a business, whether it's a salon, a gym, an extension service, call Sarah, get the coaching, get involved in anything that she's doing, like at any level, because there's so many fun things that she's part of. Like you did a clothing exchange for a while, you did, education, like you've got your fingers in so many things. If you're somebody that wants to get involved, like jump in. There's always a spot that you can jump in and be part of this. So I'd encourage you to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks as always. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye.